The following podcast has been rated R. You've been warned. Hey everybody, it's the AB from AAD welcoming you to our humble little show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Atlantis After Dark. Hello, and welcome to our humble little podcast. We're so glad you guys could join us for this extra special out of nowhere episode. We don't have much, so we're going to get right into it. You know the all-stars, Biff, Retmus, BF, Witty, and unfortunately Hate Mail's not here today to share the news with all of you out there in Cyberland. And because this is basically a one-segment show, you may notice that everything around here has been abbreviated, even the intros. So, but you know what? It doesn't feel like a real show unless I give you guys a little roast, right? How about a little mini one?
Sure.
How about a mini one?
Wouldn't have it any other way.
All right. Black Flash, you suck.
Can I do
Biff.
this?
What's that? What's that, Witty?
Can I do his? I mean, he's the man who puts the KO in KOA. Because it's just too easy to do.
Oh, I thought you meant I was a knockout.
Ouch! Oh, man. A swing and a land and a hit.
Wow.
God.
Critical hit.
Wow. All right. Well, I can't do better than that. I quit. No.
AB just got stumped.
I was going to... I know, right? No, so where was I? BF, you suck. Biff, you
don't
Biff,
suck.
you suck more. No, you suck more.
Oh, come on. Let's be realistic here.
Retmus, you suck about the same as Biff for two people. Witty, your sucking has been well documented, and pointing it out now just seems cruel.
Careful,
And
AB.
Hate Mail. I know, right? Hate Mail, you couldn't be here today, so let me say this. Neil deGrasse Tyson called. He wants to study that black hole in the middle of your face with a Hubble fucking telescope, you fucktard. God, you suck so hard. All right. Everybody sucks today. How about that?
Oh, well, welcome.
Jeez, we need to get to Retmus closing right now.
Right? We need positive vibes already.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I don't know.
God.
I'm so hammered down.
I don't know why you're complaining. The first 90 seconds of the show is all packing me.
That's what you're here for.
I got like a quadruple roast.
Yeah. Right. Oh, man.
Love
Well,
you guys.
look, you know how I really feel about you guys. It's all in good fun. So I love mini roasts. We may bring that up. We may bring that back. That's a great little bit there.
Pot roast
Anyways,
also good.
All right, time for some DCL. And we wanted to bring you this little mini show to talk about the Nightmare Challenge that's coming up just 4 days from now. And I do believe that you guys, the All-Stars, have an announcement regarding that event. Biff, why don't you tell everybody what this is and how this came to be, and lastly, where to find it?
Yeah, so we created a Nightmare Challenge Essentials list. We referenced in the show last time there will also be a Raids one coming out on our next full broadcast. But the methodology, we wanted to get in on all the fun because we see all these lists out there on Reddit and Discord, but we kind of have a little different spin on it. The way we look at it at AAD is really simplifying things, not getting too deep. We're not going to give you a 27 character raid list with 7 different categories and cyborg on one of them and stuff like that. We're going to keep it simple. All of these characters we're going to talk about today, at least in the semi-recent past, have either had an event or a sale. So I'm hoping, most of you have them. This list is not going to be for everybody. I wouldn't classify it as an endgame list, although endgame this list is relevant to endgame players, and I wouldn't classify it as a list for beginners either. I'd probably say this is a list for people with at least level 70, gear 11, L3, and above.
I'm all ears.
I think applies to the. Yeah, but you have a couple R's on this list, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So you might have some work to do. But I think the majority of experienced players will have all of these characters, will have them at least L3, and we just want to keep it really simple. Like, why throw something out to your alliance or to newer players that make them feel like, oh my gosh, I need 20 characters to compete in Nightmare or raids or whatever. Like, keep it simple, and that's what we did here.
Yeah, very nice.
I like the KISS method personally.
That's right.
I'm sure you do.
What's the KISS method?
The KISS method?
No,
Keep it
no,
simple,
no.
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
we're
that's not the
we're
worst
supposed to
idea in
be
the world.
politically correct. It is now means keep it super simple.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, we wouldn't want to call people names, especially in this show.
There you go.
Well, that blows my entire intro today. Fuck me. So let's talk a little bit about how we got to landing some of these characters. And I know for a lot of us in the Alliance, this has been through trial and error, through frequent discussions. I know we in our Alliance have our own little room, our own channel dedicated just to the Nightmare Challenge. So it's is that a correct statement?
Yeah, well, even more simplified, it's a Nightmare Challenge winning teams, so we really don't have discussion on it. It's really just screenshots and simplified place where you can just go and say, here are all the teams that beat Node 10, here are all the teams that beat Node 12, without having to filter through a bunch of discussion. So,
right.
Yeah, we find that to be very helpful as a group.
Yeah. It's something we've been cataloging for a long time. So if I had to turn it over to you guys, the All-Stars, take me through a little bit about what each one of these characters bring to the table, just very briefly. And we'll start with Donna Troy.
BF?
BF, that's your cue.
I'm waiting to be educated. I mean, you guys have seen my Donna, so I do have great progress with her right now. I'm pretty proud of myself, but somebody who actually has her, if they want to educate me, I'd love it.
Witty, why don't you start on the Amazon side?
Yeah, you're the Amazon, Witty. Go for it.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Ever since the Nightmare Challenge was introduced, and she's been one of my key characters because she manages to put the taunt on herself and give awareness to the whole team. And the Nightmare Challenge obviously goes, multiple rounds and goes out, a big amount of time, so it gives her time to ramp the whole team and to build up a huge defense for us. So that's why she's there. She's the first line of defense, I would say.
What's a good level I mean everybody else should have her at to be useful?
L3 is useful. It's what I had her before. After this month ends, she'll be at least L5. But at L3, I guarantee she'll work. So if you have her good,
and I
if
can
you
vouch.
don't, you should farm her right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can vouch that once you get her to L5, which is where I have her, she is outstanding. She's super useful. One of the best tanks in the game.
Yeah. And if you can survive the first node and some of these harder ones, by the time you get to the third and fourth node, she stacks so much awareness. There's just nothing anyone can do. Sometimes you got.
And it's not just for her; it's for the whole team.
That's what I mean.
Even when you have those Harleys and Azraels on the last wave, they still have to go through huge amounts of awareness, and she keeps protecting you all the time. So that's why she's super useful. Yeah. She's the first defense line.
I got a
for us.
feeling she's going to
Yeah.
be even more useful putting all those awarenesses on your team. Now with the addition of Dr. Poison, how her AoE functions, how it just wipes off, 12
right.
awareness across the board. So,
Yeah,
and you know she's going to be in the next one, so I got a feeling
Yeah.
Donna will be very, very valuable.
Yes. Good observation. And that kind of spills over into sort of the next tune, because when I use Donna Troy, I always like to pair her with this character, and that's Lex. And the reason is because they just have such a fantastic synergy of protect and heal. And gosh, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I
also
agree.
use him as a protector. He's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I would categorize him as defense as well, because the whole thing is you want him to keep healing your team. You know, if you're gonna get hit, they're gonna take huge chunks of life of health points.
Yeah.
You know, and you want to keep your team overhealed. And he works well with all characters on that list, because every one of them has a buff move, and he will overheal your team. He'll keep you alive, honestly. He's mainly he's more defense than attack, but he also has that purge move that it can be very, very useful towards the end.
Yeah, good point.
And I think there are really two categories when you think about it. Like all these other lists have a million different categories, but I look at this list as two. Who are the protectors? As Woody said, being able to purge, put health, do some turn meter manipulation. I also put into kind of the protect mode. And then there's the ramp and damage group. Who are the characters that we'll talk about in a little bit that ramp up over time and do damage. So it's really two. How do you protect your team? How do you manipulate the turn meter? How do you get through some of the buffs on one side? And then how do we just destroy people as the match moves on?
Yeah.
And if anybody has the
You were
question, I'm assuming Lex is always in the leader, right? He's not really one that will mosey through the lineup.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, he's
Retimus.
been my leader through all the challenges, all of them.
Yeah.
I've used Darkseid as
Retimus, you
leader
gonna
a few
say something?
times.
Yeah.
No, I'd have to say that too. I have used Darkseid as the lead, all the way up to level 10, I think.
Those are the only two leaders we have on their list, unless you
Right.
want to count Barda.
Yeah. Barda. Well, we'll get to Barda in a minute, but let's talk a little bit about Darkseid. Why is it that you guys think he's so valuable in the Nightmare Challenge?
I feel that he's valuable simply for the fact that he allows everybody to do double attacks. So if you have characters that are ramped up or they're the powerful strikers, they're going to go twice, effectively double the damage. I mean, that's mainly the reason that I like him. Plus, when he ramps up, he's got his AoE that doesn't miss. They can apply, death immunity, or not death immunity, sorry, doom on someone. And also his other one, just does massive damage the more int-ups he has. So, he's got the nice AoE, two AoEs actually. So, I mean, he's a very good leader.
I use him for a different reason, though. The turn meter down on his AoE and the stun on his basic. No other tune has this, and the stun on his basic, I think it's pretty useful.
Ding, ding.
Yep, and that's what I mainly use him for, is off lead for control with the stun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stun Azrael or something like that, just to not let him get off if it's going to take you a few turns to get him down.
And his damage is a given once ramped.
Because we will never have a Nightmare Challenge where Azrael is not in it.
It's the only challenge where you'll have two of them in one lineup.
Sadly, I don't think he's the worst.
No,
he's not.
No, I don't either.
He's not.
No.
As long as you make him settle down with the stun, he's just there.
I always forget Cassie is on the first wave, and I just don't prepare for her. And then I end up losing on the first node for some reason.
Right. Well, are there any other thoughts on Darkseid, by the way, before I move on? Okay. So I want to start by talking about the only red affinity on this list, and that's Barda. So aside from the fact that she has this incredible heel taunt factor that I think, does well on just about any team, and I think you should use her on almost every team. Do you guys agree with that or disagree with that?
I don't think anyone should use her ever.
I agree.
I agree, but I want to clarify. It's not a heal factor. It's a health pool extension. Heal immunity won't stop that. Just if anybody was wondering.
Sure.
Oh, man, I killed the vibe,
Well,
didn't I?
thanks for pooping the fucking parade, pal. God damn.
Now we know why you suck.
God.
Well, I just want the new people to be aware of it. I'm hoping some new players listen to this stuff, so I just wanted to be clear.
Sure. No, and we appreciate that. Thank you, pal.
After I derail it. You're
All
welcome.
No, she's super
So-
useful as much as she is in PvP. I mean, she starts with a turn 0 taunt, and she forces the other team to attack her. And most of the time, when she is attacked, she ramps and buffs, and that works so well with lags to keep your team overhealed and protected. And it guarantees that you're not gonna get hits on other important tunes. So that's the main reason she should be in there.
She should be called Karen, too, because she's annoying.
Yep.
Can't
Karen. Oh.
I still refuse refuse to use her, even though I agree wholeheartedly she should be on this list. I have never used her in the Nightmare Challenge.
I agree with Biff 100%. She definitely needs to be on here. Can help out a lot of people, but I will never use her.
Yep.
Wow.
People are going to ask you
The
to
hate
take
is
her
strong.
on the list then. You're not helping.
No, I agree she should be on the list.
Yeah, she should be there.
She's just not on my list.
Yeah, I just don't like her.
I pretty much have one
Fair
combo
enough.
of 4 of these that I could pretty much use every single Nightmare Challenge, quite frankly.
Well, and I'm sure we'll get there. Let's talk about the next mystical affinity, and that's Black Flash. And I think we should start with BF. Why is he on the list, buddy?
Turn meter down, man. Turn meter down. He's got that little Doom that actually... Nightmare Challenge is, I feel like, what Doom was made for, on him at least. His Doom never really does much in Wraith, normal PvP events. You don't have the time for it to actually do anything. So it actually is kind of handy in that, where you'll just be turn meter down, fighting, and then poof, somebody pops. You're like, hey, he finally did something. But yeah, he keeps everybody from going. He kind of saves your ass in a sense, too. He's a striker and a protector, I would say, in that essence.
Yeah.
That intelligent
up for discussion, folks.
Is nice too.
All the INTs,
Yeah, I mean, it's once again, it's turn meter. It's making sure they don't go. So he, as PF said, once he gets ramped up, he can do some damage. But generally, I put him in that second category of the protect and turn meter manipulation and allowing them not to get a turn.
So
which this Nightmare Challenge with KOA, and it's going to be kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this then, because this brings up a good point. I understand why Black Flash is on this list. I really do. And I'm like you guys. It's not that I don't use him. It's not that I don't like him even. But I find using Black Flash can lead to problems as well, especially if he goes up against tunes that retaliate, especially if he goes up against tunes where turn meter is just crazy, silly, fast. What are some of the tunes out there that don't work with Black Flash taking his turn meter down on all enemies first?
Well, Harley's the main one. Harley Quinn Majestic.
Harley, yeah.
Because her retaliation. Yeah.
Cassie.
Yeah.
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 And remember,
Cassie.
this list we created prior to
KOA.
It's prior to Aquaman's rework, so we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe he's not on the
subject
next
to change this month already.
Yeah.
So this is just starting ground.
Well, no, it's not subject to change. I think he's still useful.
Yeah.
The point I want to make is choose his power wisely when you're up against the team.
See,
right?
one of the most
so
annoying
you can use
things
a second
is when
What's that?
he gets ramped up too much sometimes, especially in these longer battles.
Yeah.
He'll just keep going. You can't even get anybody else to go off on
You can't
your
ramp
team.
him down.
And that really pisses me off, even as a Black Flash lover, as you guys know. I just sit there and I'm like, damn it, stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well,
be
all
careful
right.
with him.
Definitely. Be careful
but
with him.
you guys are portraying him like he's the weakest link, and that's absolutely not true.
No,
because
that's not.
they,
Oh,
they,
no,
will, they
no.
will all work as a team. I know using his third against Harley or Cassie is a major issue, but he also has a second move that causes no damage and still does Terminator manipulation, applies Doom. He will be useful, and if well protected, he'll get the job done. It's not like he's the weakest link now. Everybody is falling on him this month, but he's still a very good tune. One of the best. So.
Oh, he absolutely is, and
Well,
that's
you're
what I
making
was
me
going
blush
to
now,
get to here in a minute. But yeah,
And there's
oh
only 7
You're
people
welcome.
on this list, so I don't view any of them as a weak link. As I said, I
absolutely
view
not.
4 of them as my go-to, but I think all
I don't know.
7 are very
I
viable.
felt the vibe was being kind of negative. So.
No, I think it's more we don't know because we're
It's
seeing
Sabi's
this KOA thing happen in front of our eyes, and we just don't know what his. I know he'll always be useful.
Yeah.
For the people that says,
definitely.
Rest in peace, Black Flash from Aquaman.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, breaking news, everybody. We're still figuring this Aquaman meta thing out. So stick with us. Stay tuned,
I'm bored
kids.
already.
Yeah.
So-
I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say about this next week. Yeah.
Now that we successfully built me up, bashed me, and then realized that I'm still good on the list, that leaves us with, 2 more tunes? The big kahunas?
That's right. We're going to talk about Biff's number 1 guy, only second to hate mails, and that's Grodd.
Yeah, so the last 2 here are the ones I described at the beginning of the ramp and damage. Grodd is a ramp significantly upon deaths of other folks. So in a long battle, if you get through node 1 or node 2 with Grodd on your team, he's pretty much going to take you home, along with a partner we'll talk about in a minute. But he also, like Darkseid, can stun, which is very useful. He can provide death immunity to his team for retal. So we talked about Black Flash, and here's another reason why Black Flash still is very relevant on a Grodd team, because if Cassie's retaliating or Harley Quinn's retaliating, they're not going to kill BF, even if he doesn't have 10,000 Donna Troy awareness on him. So it's another way to protect. But just the ramping and the AOE that he has, call assists he has, he's the total package as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we have people in our alliance that don't have him fully built, that have him at L3, and they're like, and sometimes they're like, yeah, he was my MVP, even at L3. So that's where I really think this list is. It's L3 and beyond.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I have no Grodd to speak of.
Is that it? No? Okay.
That's
Well,
just
I
sad.
can tell you from my experience. No, I mean, I can tell you from my experience, the last go-around, Grodd was absolutely my MVP. Some of this is RNG dependent. I don't want to kid anybody either, right? I mean, even as we're going to talk about the last character on this list, which, by far exceeded my expectations last raid. But even as we get there, a lot of this is RNG dependent. In other words, RNG is kind of all over the place. Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Oh, if anyone thinks that this event, as you get to 11 and 12, is not RNG dependent,
Right.
you're just not paying attention. AB, how many times did it take you to finish node 12 last time?
Actually, once.
Exactly. You know how many times it took me?
How many?
24.
Oh my
Jesus.
geez.
And
I would have quit.
And I'm going to venture to guess that my roster is comparable to yours. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
oh sure.
it's that first wave.
There's
I
no
couldn't
rhyme or
get
reason
around
to it.
Wonder Girl, and then the one time it worked, it was easy as pie. But it took me 24. And by the way, that's a record of how long it's ever taken me to finish Note 12. but just to the point where I'm like, oh God, I'm done. I'll take my three crystals, and I'm done with Nightmare this time.
The challenge is super RNG, and it's also one of the reasons why we came up with this and why we discussed this as a team, because for the first challenges, there are a lot of people giving, comps and advice, and what worked for them didn't work for me or for other people. So this little ensemble of tunes works out for everybody. They'll be useful to everybody, and you just have to figure out which ones you should use in each node. But guaranteed, all of them will be useful to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
they are RNG dependent, but they're also RNG proof, I would say.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, that's a great segue into the very last character here. You want to talk about someone who's RNG proof. He's like the Energizer Bunny. No. He was wowed.
No, actually, I coughed and I was trying to cover my mouth so it wouldn't show up our sound on the microphone, and it just did not work well.
I saw your box light up, and then it sounded like something hitting the ground. I'm like,
Stunned by Spectre.
Someone just clawed.
He was stunned by the Spectre. He got him in his black cloud. Yeah, that would be the very last character, Spectre. I kind of call him the RNG buster because honestly, once he gets ramped up, I've seen him go the distance with teams by himself and annihilate rounds of people by himself. It's happened to me on my team.
Yeah, me too. I once lost the full team on the first wave, and from there on, he just kept going, and the whole four waves, it just took him all by himself. So
it was pretty impressive.
He is the real MVP.
Yeah,
as far as attack goes.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. Last Nightmare Challenge was the first time I ever even got the Note 11. I've never finished one. Ever.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I don't have
you don't try.
I don't have... Well, yeah. I usually get to where I fail, and then I just don't care anymore. and I don't have Grodd and Donna and all that shit, so I'm just like, whatever. But last month, with Spectre introduced, like Whitty was saying, my whole team would die, and he would just stand there and do a shut up, bitch, then throw lightning, and then the next one would come up, and he's like, oh, hey, shut up, bitch, and throw lightning, punch him. And I'm like, oh, cool, I just made another node. And I was like, let's try that again.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I made it all the way.
Yeah.
And even if your teammates die, he ramps up. So he keeps the ball rolling.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think what makes Spectre so great, he's not only a super powerful striker, but he's also a protector of your team with the ability to purge all the buffs off of another tune and stun them and turn meter down as well on that character. So when you have like an enemy Azrael on there or something, and they have the stack of strength ups, it's going to one shot your character. He does what BF says, shut up, bitch. And then they're gone, and he's stunned, and 20% turn meter down, and then every turn that Spectre gets, that's 2 more permanent in-ups, and the more in-ups he gets, he just totally dominates the match.
Yeah, it's a freaking melee of smoke and lightning, and then you won.
And he has awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
you want to talk about
Andy
the
has
total
awareness.
Package, awareness, stun, strength, powerful AoE, like he does everything.
His awareness is actually very frustrating too.
Yes, it is. But that's what I want to talk about here, because with him, you have a different cache of directions in which you can take already established teams, right? So we always knew that Grodd was a good team or a good character to use for the Nightmare Challenge. But Spectre had a rework, and in that rework made him pretty much the man in the Nightmare Challenge. It's just my experience, and you guys can back me up, but putting Spectre on a team with Grodd and Barda and Darkseid, doing something like that in the Nightmare Challenge will take you very, very far.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that has all the pieces. Like, the protection, the
all
power,
the pieces.
Personally, I like Lex, Grodd, Spectre, and Donna.
Okay.
That's the one I go with until it doesn't work, which generally last time it was 1 through 11 was a breeze, and we've already talked about my epic failure on Node 12 last time. But yeah, I did 1 through 11 with no issue with that, and that's where I'll start Node 1 next time. Like, that's my default.
Yeah.
I think I ended up doing like Lex, then Darkseid, Spectre, and Donna Troy together. So that way I had double stuns in there from Darkseid but from Spectre.
Yeah. And that's always a good way to go too. I mean, gosh, you can't go wrong with any less stuns, right?
Yeah. Especially in the Nightmare Challenge.
You don't get turns, right. You can't get killed.
That's right.
I wanted to bring up one little thing real quick. It's just a little segue off of Nightmare Challenge, but if you guys remember, back, I remember AB, Biff, and I were talking about when Aquaman had the free shards and whether people should get free shards. Yeah. Do you guys remember that? Mm-hmm. And we said, always grab the free shards. Always grab them. Now look, here's Aquaman, and he's meta-defining now, and people that's like, oh, we're not going to grab those. You could have had, an L3.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So always grab free shards.
Grab them.
Can I ask a non-nightmare related question about Spectre? Very quickly.
Sure.
How is it that I stun enemy Spectre, and he's got like 3 stuns on him, and all of a sudden he goes next?
Because he drops them. He purges them off.
How many can he purge, though?
If you have 4 more debuffs, I think that's when the stun will act effectively. The more buffs you have on him, I think it's up to 3 he can purge on his own.
It's supposedly what it says in his bio, or what his powers. It says that he can purge up to 2 debuffs on him at the beginning of every round. Like, as soon as he goes, 2 debuffs are gone instantly.
I think he's broken. I do. I see him. I have 3 stuns on him, and he goes next.
So you're talking about on a kill, you'll stun him, right?
Yeah. Or the opponent Spectre will stun mine first,
and then you go
after I kill somebody.
Mm-hmm. And that's just because his passive triggers. He purges the debuffs on him.
What chooses whose Spectre stuns first?
Whoever dies. Like, if you kill somebody first, like if you kill him, he's going to go first because his passive is triggered by someone dying. Then you get to go. If he kills someone,
enemy will always go first. If you kill someone.
Yeah, if you kill someone. But if he kills someone on your team, then you go first because your passive will be triggered.
I've seen it happen both ways. Mm-hmm. It was just a thing. Like, I've seen me go first after I kill somebody, and I've seen him go first after I kill somebody, and I don't know why it is.
I haven't had that problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah, that's why I don't know what it was the trigger to make it go one way or the other is what I don't understand.
Sometimes mine doesn't even stun.
Yep. No, that's
well. You got to remember it is only a 75% chance.
Yeah, I think so.
So sometimes it's not going to do anything.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, mine still stuns ghosts. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we're getting a little sidetracked here.
Yes.
Anyways, I think that is. Does anybody have anything else to say, by the way, on the list?
Well, I think we should tell people where they can find it.
Where can people find it?
Yeah, on AtlantisAfterDark.com. And we also...
Wait a minute. Retmus, what did he say?
AtlantisAfterDark.com.
No. BF.
AtlantisAfterDark.com? Did I get it right?
I don't know. Witty?
AtlantisAfterDark.com.
Yeah, I got all of you. AtlantisAfterDark.com. That's where you can find this list, everybody.
I get it. He was doing
I know,
props.
it's like a game show.
And,
yes, I was.
And let's also give some credit to a few beautiful artists that did our work. A lot of people from Reddit would know him as I Am Possessed. In Discord, it's Moomin, Moomin. He did the character art. A lot of people will know him very much for his cartoony, fun depictions of all the different Chars for all the different events. So he did this work for us, did a great job. Retmus also pulled it all together and AADized it. So we had two awesome artists that helped us put this together. And in a couple weeks, you'll see our raid list as well.
That's it.
And that is under our essential lists. Go to the essential list slot, the link at AtlantisAfterDark.com.
That's it, AtlantisAfterDark.com. And I appreciate that, Biff, all the hard work that you guys, the All-Stars, have put into this. You and Retmus. And yes, a huge shout out to Moomin for providing such fantastic artwork. I love it. I am especially proud to hang that poster on our wall, if you know what I mean. Just because, look at it. It's an incredible collaborative piece. Wow. Much appreciated. Thanks, everybody. All right. Do you guys have any last words? Any, no?
No, I also wanted to thank Witty and Biff and BF for the collaboration that we messaged back and forth on the boards to come up with the lists and why we did them. It's not a one person does it all. We are a team, and I appreciate you guys.
I feel so much better after the beginning of the show now that Retmus spoke. Thank you for that.
I know, right? I know. We're here to spread dislike and joy all in the same show, right? All right. Well, having said that, we want to thank you guys for taking the time to be with us today. Tickle our taints by smashing that subscribe button. Get on our Discord server and get on our website if you didn't hear it right before, AtlantisAfterDark.com. For Retmus, Witty, Biff, BF, and every single arsehole there ever was, we'll see you right here next time for another episode of Double AD. So long, everybody. Straight from Darkseid's boom tube. Double AD.